Now, I never received that most auspicious of high school votes most likely to succeed, but I have benefited greatly from people who saw potential and invested in me. If we were to vote right here, right now, who would you say has the greatest potential around you? Who'd get that vote in your students? Your class? Your students? Would they know who would be voted ahead of time? Who would receive the vote in your family? Statistically, we know that the majority of votes would go to those with the most experience or education, extroverted personalities, or extraordinary talent. Where's our PhDs or our child prodigies? Who among us holds those positions of authority or has the resources of wealth? And the reality is we would be right. It is that person. But it's also you, and it is also me. It is the youngest among us and the oldest. It is the most visible and the least seen, because potential doesn't come in degrees. It doesn't come with a degree. It is equally unlimited, it's equally valuable, and it's equally unique to each one of us. And yet, since I started talking in these 40 seconds, someone in our world has already given up on their potential and ended their life. An estimated 20 others have attempted the same thing during that time. 40.3 million boys and girls, men and women, have been told their potential has no right to exist, and they are walking through today in modern-day slavery. 11 million others would have to watch this talk behind prison walls. And 1 in 5 children worldwide today are growing up without the benefit that education provides. The issue is not a lack of potential, but the opportunity and the availability to access the potential we each carry. I've worked in settings, as have many of you, where the circumstances, the choices, the people have somehow buried potential so deep you'd wonder if it could even survive. And then someone reminded me, wait a minute, if you're there too, that means your connection, your influence, no matter how seemingly insignificant, makes you a factor in their lives as well. Learning to maximize that potential unleashing opportunity, that became a passion of mine and in my life work. My formal research in this area began years ago. I was doing doctoral studies on the change dynamics we experience as we grow, personally and relationally, and how we transition through all those personal, collective, emotional, spiritual, and cultural shifts that take place. I got to hear hundreds of stories, and I asked even more questions. Where do you see yourself on this journey of growth? What helped you get there? What mountains did you climb? What gear got you over the hurdles? How long have you been at your current spot? What's keeping you there, and what would it look like to move forward? And the further I explored, the clearer it became. Unleashing potential, it's not just about individual growth. It is as relational as it is individual. And just as people were one of those barriers that trapped potential inside, they are the means to see it unleashed. So then I asked, well, who spotted potential in you? How? What did they say? What did they do? What impact did that have? And all the data gathered has created 3 keys that will maximize each of our potential unleashing opportunities. The first of which was found in 100% of the experiences shared: the choice to see. Somebody intentionally looked beyond the behavior, behind the circumstance, and saw the potential within another. One man I interviewed explained it this way. He said, I never felt like I fit in growing up. I was a different color than everyone else. We ate different food. We didn't have the right clothes. The kids called us names on the playground and in the classroom. They told us to go back where we came from. But I was born in the same country and state as most of them. He said, I remember being labeled a slow learner and put in special ed classes, but there was a teacher who saw beyond the labels. Somehow, he said, she saw me differently, like I belonged, like I was valuable, like I had something to contribute. He said, I don't even remember the words that she used, but I remember the way she looked at me, like she believed in me. All the challenges, all the struggles I've had in life from that point, that's what I've carried with me. The way we see someone changes how we look at them. How we look at someone transmits a message to them. Recently, I had the opportunity to look into the eyes of two infants, both about a week old. One was the grandson of a school administrator. The other was a little girl I met in the grocery store with oxygen tubes helping her breathe. Have you ever noticed when you look at an infant, they draw you in with their gaze? It's almost transfixing. Sometimes it's hard to look away. I think we know that we are staring in the eyes of unlimited potential. I think there's something in us that's resonating with the fact that this little being could speak any language on earth that they're exposed to. They could impact any area of life. They can make a difference in anyone else's life. That's the perspective we want to maintain when looking at people through every stage and age of their life. Because truly, the amount of potential we see, that's the amount we can unleash. I know, personally, I haven't fully seen someone's potential until I'm filled with a sense of awe, because that's what they carry, and that's what I want to unleash. Next time you're going into a difficult conversation, give yourself a minute to step back, align your heart and your mind with the potential within that person. It may not change what you have to talk about, but it will change the interaction, and it will change the outcome, the choice to see. Sometimes that's all the time we have, and that's okay. Maybe it's all that the person is able or willing to receive. It still counts. Use it wisely. Speak it over them. Know that you're planting internal seeds that will yield to external impact, which leads us to our second key, the courage to engage. Unleashing potential is not for the faint of heart. Those of us who have been doing it have the scars and the wrinkles to prove it. It moves us from that safety of the observation deck to being on the hike with someone, which means we're going to get scraped up knees. We're going to get to experience the exhilaration of their triumphs and the tragedy of their defeats. The stories of those whose internal potential had the greatest external rate of growth included an ongoing relational investment. Basically, somebody walked with them deliberately through the process. And it looked different depending on the person and the relationship. For some, it was volunteer tutoring, monthly mentoring, community connections, individualized lesson plans. For others, it was something more specific to their life. It was the difference between forwarding a job application and offering to look at someone's resume, practice mock interviews, meet and debrief after their appointment. With this amount, though, of personal investment we bring to the process, it's going to be really critical that you and I have our own potential, our own identity strong from the onset. Because there is a slippery slope between unleashing someone's potential and getting entangled in their potential. Now, the most valuable lessons I learned from this came not from my research, but from my life, where some of our best lessons come. This case, it was the streets of Seattle. I was in my 20s, and I was working with men and women and teenagers who were without housing, many living on the streets. Well, this one gray Seattle day, I looked into the eyes of the women before me, and they were pools of wisdom and experience. Maria, beautiful woman in her 50s. She had worked as a lawyer in Guatemala, like the mother bear, fighting for the rights of her cubs or her clients. Well, today, her eyes held equal measures of betrayal, loss, grief, shock. Through a domino of events, she suddenly found herself before me, bereaved of husband and only child, in an unfamiliar country, without a job, without housing, without connections, and without friends. Maria became one of my clients and one of my heroes. The whole time, I'm officially working to remind her of the value she carries, to help others see her potential. She's unleashing potential in me. She believed in me. She entrusted me with her story. Maria changed my life. And she taught me that when you have been given the invitation to walk with someone, when they have invited you to become a part of their story, every word, every page, every chapter is still theirs to write. That when we have the privilege and the gift of walking and unleashing someone's potential with them, we have to remember whose potential it is. When we meet in that classroom or the coffee shop or the office, you bring your potential in with you. And as we're talking and reflecting, we're going to look at your potential, your passion, your dreams. And when you walk out that door, you take your potential with you. Author Danny Silk says, "I will not work harder on your problem than you do." Yes, the same is true for potential. It's not like dirty laundry that you can bring to our time together and then leave for me to wash and fold after you go. I might do some washing alongside you, but you still get to take it home with you. Potential involves choice. And as we empower that choice within our students, within our staff, it equips them to grow whether or not we're right there beside them. The choice to see, the courage to engage, and the final key, which unleashed the broadest expanse of impact, but was found in the least amount of stories, the strength of synergy. Synergy is where potential receives the maximum relational energy to grow. It truly is the secret superpower strategy of the advanced unleasher. Synergy knows how to take advantage of that infinite element within potential. It knows that potential is always both now and not yet. That as soon as we think we've reached our potential, we've stopped reaching our potential. It knows that when we look at one person's infinite possibilities and combine it with the infinite possibilities of others, it's going to take us to infinity and beyond. And honestly, isn't that the level we need to be to deal with some of the issues facing us globally and locally? That's the level our students need of opportunities today to take advantage of what's available to them synergistically through technology. Because today's teams are not just you and I sitting around a table. They include our classroom buddies, our business associates, our team members from around the world. It's such a great idea. Who doesn't want it? We all would love to have more synergy, but we're not always sure how to get it. And I've worked in classrooms and done some consulting with schools and organizations that had a growth focus, but something was truncating the process. And more often than not, we found it was an unbalanced approach to individualized growth. What resulted was a collection of silos, where truly each person is trying to climb as high as they can go, but they're surrounded by walls. Walls that are isolating their growth. Walls that we watched become incubators of comparison, incubators of jealousy and judgment and fear. Synergy has the power to step in and remove those walls. It pulls open the ceiling. It creates that expanse of space where I'm free and safe to bring my full self to the table, elicit that out of you, and then watch it grow exponentially from us. The skills that we are teaching today, the creativity, the communication, the critical thinking, all of that needs a synergistic environment to reach its true possibilities. Again, synergy is something we want, but without knowing how to get there, it can feel like it is a galaxy away. And so we retreat back to the safety of our individualized zones. For many of us, that was the paradigm that we experienced growing up. And so this is taking a shift within our own lives. When we talk about synergy, we talk about this starting with the staff and then letting that filter down to the students. It's a new experience for so many of us. Where do you even begin? Well, today I want to give you 3 questions. 3 easy questions that if you use these on an ongoing basis, we've found that they cultivate a collective mindset of honor, that they create an expectation and an access point for synergy to come through in any team, in any staff, and in any classroom. We use them in one-on-one growth conversations, formative evaluations. We use them in performance reviews. They're a part of every individualized growth plan. 3 questions. Number 1, what new idea have you learned from a colleague this week or a classmate? Number 2, how have you invested in the potential of a colleague this week? And number 3, how are you currently collaborating to maximize results? 3 simple questions, but they take synergy from this giant mystery and make it part of our day-to-day growth reality. Synergy takes the potential you and I saw, and it's going to create a space and an influence for that person to grow beyond what we could ever do with them on our own. There truly is potential in every one of us, in every staff, every student, every family member, every friend. That has yet to be unleashed. It's in the person on your right. It's in the person on your left. And it is as relational as it is individual. Unleashing that potential, that is a privilege and a role that we are each uniquely positioned to hold right where you are. At this moment in your life, it's exactly where somebody else needs you to be. Their potential is waiting for you to be unleashed. Together, let's maximize our unleashing opportunities by having the choice to see, the courage to engage, and bringing in that strength of synergy. Thank you.